Hello guys, welcome to the channel. This is Lunar Goddess Tarot. I'm Sarah and I'll be your intuitive guide and your reader today. So we have got an interesting reading on the books here. I'm going to be looking into the energies of the counterparts, and I've got two decks here for messages because I wasn't able to get to those messages yesterday in the reading. Do check the reading out from yesterday if you haven't already. And then I've got a tarot deck here that I'm going to use just to check into the energies using the tarot deck of the divine counterparts. Now, if you don't know if you're a divine counterpart or you think you're a soulmate or a kindred spirit, you can still tune in because we all have divine masculine, divine feminine energies within us. On this planet, the ultimate goal right now is for each and every individual to reach inner union inside, the union of the masculine, the union of the feminine energies inside of ourselves. So that's the ultimate goal. So anyone can tune in. If you're a starseed, a light worker, you're definitely welcome to the channel. And in fact, myself and Holly, who I work with in my group coaching program, we offer one-on-one sessions, individual sessions, not just for twin flames or twin souls, but also for light workers and star seeds and those that are on the awakening journey, the illuminating journey. So we welcome you guys to reach out to us for sessions. And I think that's about it. So let's get started on the card portion of the reading. We're going to dive right in. I am going to begin actually with the messages because they're literally chomping at the bit, guys. The counterparts want to speak here. So remember, this is your inner feminine, your inner masculine energies. So apply it to that as well as whoever you consider the outer physical manifestation of the masculine and of the feminine. I apologize if I'm clearing my throat or I'm a bit raspy. I've got wicked allergies going on right now, wicked allergies, and some ascension symptoms to boot. So I will do my best to not be annoying with that. So let us go ahead and invite in the highest of the high. I'm inviting in the ancestors. The grandmother energy is very close by at this time. The high priestess energy is very close by for both counterparts, as we saw in yesterday's reading, calling in the divine within each of us, the divine spark, the illumination to light up this planet lighter than ever before, and calling on my highest self to deliver the messages in a compassionate way, but also in a truthful and honest way. And so it is. And we thank you, guides and ascended masters, ancestors, and light team. Thank you. We're going to start with the messages here from the masculine to the feminine, from the feminine to the masculine. Just going to move this over here. Okay. All right. So actually, yes, okay. I am going to separate them. So the feminine actually is in black and the masculine is in white. We're going to start with the feminine because she has a lot to say today. She has a lot to say. She's been feeling pretty unappreciated in the collective, okay? Feminine wants to say to the masculine, I want intimacy. I feel like you are emotionally distant. You seem avoidant of true intimacy and it hurts. So I need to step away for now. So the feminine is demanding, I don't want to say demanding, that sounds pretty aggressive, but she will not settle for anything less than true intimacy from the counterpart. She's saying, this is what I want, this is what I deserve, and if this is not something that you can offer me at this time, I need to step away. I do feel like this is a message for the feminine that is in communication with her counterpart rather than in separation. It's like she's saying, like, even though we're in, communication right now, you still seem very distant. So I feel like some of you are upset that maybe your counterpart has come back in here during this pre-union phase as we lead up to February and the Mars and Venus conjunction February 2022. So the feminine, you're going to see the in and out behavior of the masculine, but what the feminine is feeling is, where's the intimacy? And I feel like you're avoiding me, you're avoiding vulnerability, you're avoiding true intimacy and the communication and conversations that we need to have about us. So it might seem very superficial or just friendly instead of romantic. So the feminine is feeling a little upset about that. So I'm going to get a message back for this particular group of feminines from the masculine. I want to make things fair between us. I do. I realize I was selfish. I do see your value. You don't have to prove it. I get it. That's a huge response to that message. He's like, I do want to make things right. I do see your value. I know that I acted selfishly and I was being self-absorbed and I wasn't putting you first. You don't have to prove your worth to me. I get it. So he's like, you can step away if you want to, but you don't have to prove your worth in that way. You don't have, I feel like he's saying almost, we don't have to go back into separation over this. You don't have to prove your worth to me. I already get it. I already understand. And he also says, I'm holding on to you in the deepest parts of me. On the surface, it may seem that I have let you go, but I haven't. I don't want to have to let you go. So he's saying to her, he's saying, I know I may seem avoidant still. I may seem afraid of intimacy. It may seem like nothing has changed, but I'm holding on to you in the deepest parts of my core, of my soul. And I don't want to let you go. And I haven't let you go. So he just needs you to know that looks are still deceiving, feminines. And I also want to make note of, a lot of feminines have been reaching out to me and there's a lot of comparing going on. So just be mindful of, how you're comparing your journey to someone else's. The older the soul, the potential longer the journey may be to union. Maybe. Notice how I'm not saying anything with conviction. I'm not saying definitely. There's a possibility, a good possibility, that if you're an older soul, you have multiple missions on this earth. You're a light worker, you're a starseed, and you're a twin soul. And you have a lot of missions to complete that don't even involve your counterpart. And that means your counterpart also is as old of a soul as you are, because you share a soul, and they also have multiple missions to complete that can be without you. So we have to be willing to see this from the higher perspective, and that's what we're being challenged to do at this time. If somebody else is in communication, or someone's divine masculine has proposed, or they're living together, or they're just talking again, and you're still sitting in silence, or you're not getting what you need from the communication with your counterpart, I really urge you guys to go back to basics, to turn it back around on self and realize that your counterpart feels so deeply for you. He's holding on to you in the deepest recesses of his core, the deepest parts of him, in his cells. You exist in his cells. You are his soul. He can't let you go. He can't move on. That's impossible with twin flames. So trust and have faith. That's really where we're at right now. So I'm going to get another message from the feminine. And this, I feel, is going to be a different group of feminines. So we're going to have multiple messages that want to come through today. There's just a lot that want to come through. Message from the feminine to the masculine. We both walked away from something that could have been wonderful. That was wonderful. I am so sad. So this is a feminine that's in separation. And this is a feminine that's saying, I don't understand. Like, we gave up something that was so wonderful, so fantastic. And we both ran away. We both ran away from the intimacy. It wasn't just you, it was me too. And she says, I find myself going round and round in my head about you all day. I don't want to keep doing that. I know it's not healthy. So this is a feminine that's having trouble, that's in a longing phase and having trouble coping with that. And she knows that this isn't healthy, but she's like, she doesn't know how to bring herself out of it. So there's definitely some feminines that have stepped into or back into a longing cycle. After what may have felt like an apathetic cycle, you can go back into this longing cycle, and there's a little bit of the runner-chaser dynamic, although you guys know I'm not big on labels and titles and phases of the journey, but there is definitely this kind of energy of... it may feel like you've stepped back and you're going backwards rather than forwards. So I just want to point that out so that you know you're not actually going backwards. But let's see what the masculine says in return. Masculines are doing a lot of spiritual growing right now. I didn't expect to have such strong feelings for you. I didn't know what to do with those feelings, and I acted immaturely. I know this. This causes me much stress. I don't know what to do about it. Yeah, so he's coming back saying, I know that I acted immaturely. I know that I acted out of integrity, not in integrity, but out of integrity. And I know I wasn't honest with myself or with you. And I just didn't expect that this would be something so big in my life. Like, they knew it, but they denied it at the same time. They knew it when they first met you, some of them, especially if you're an older soul. Your masculine knew from the get-go, but they denied it because it was easier. It was just easier to deny the connection, and easier because if they deny the connection, then they don't have to make the changes to come into union with you. Although what they found is they're haunted by you either way. So it's like, doesn't matter, masculine, if you think that you can get off the journey, you're sorely mistaken, and you still have to do the work. So that's what they're finding at this time. But yeah, it's definitely, they were taken by surprise when you came into their life and the day that you met, and they just acted out of immaturity and out of old cycles and old patterns, which is where they would play games with their partners. And the feminine has stepped back at this time and said, I'm not playing games. I'm not doing this in and out hot and cold behavior anymore. So I'm going to be over here living my life, but I will not allow this to continue. So those cycles are ending now because the feminine is no longer participating in them. For some reason, the feminine says to the masculine, I can't seem to let you go. I'm trying, but when I do, there you are again. So again, it's that longing. This is a feminine that's in deep, deep longing for the masculine at this time, and it's really causing her a lot of stress. It's wreaking havoc on her life. It sounds like it's permeating a lot of layers of her life as well. Even affecting her work, her friendships, her peace of mind, her health. I will contact you soon. So it's interesting how she says, I can't let you go. I can't stop thinking about you. It's because the masculine's saying, I am going to contact you soon. I will. That is my intention. I can feel you giving up. I need you to expect the unexpected. I can feel you giving up, so I need you to expect the unexpected. Like, he knows that the clock is ticking, right? He knows the clock is ticking and it's time for him to take an action. Because kind of at this point, the only thing that matters to the feminine is action, the right action. Not the words, but the action. She's heard the words. He hasn't always followed through, so now it's time for him to take that action. So a lot of cards flew out, but I'm going to go ahead and pull this one. So the feminine says, I feel such passion for you, even after all this time. I want to show you. Please come home. So this is a feminine that is really, I'm going to put this card here. This is a feminine that is like feeling the sensual urges, feeling the sexual desires, feeling the passion. So you can see how we've got different messages from different groups of feminines and masculines. And that's what I like about these decks of cards, is that there's different messages for and from different groups. I have deep regrets for the way we parted. I didn't want to go our separate ways, but it seemed best at the time. And I thought you would chase me. I'm sad. Yeah. You know what's been coming up a lot? Sometimes I pull cards for friends. So a lot of what's been coming up from the masculine is, I want you to chase me. So they did, guys. They expected that you would chase them. And when you didn't, they were sort of flabbergasted. Like, I can't believe that she didn't chase me. I can't believe that this didn't go how I expected it to. And so now they're kind of having to sit with their hurt and wounded ego and realize that cycle is over. She's not chasing me this time. In fact, not only is she not chasing me, but she's set healthy and proper boundaries. And she's not going to put up with these games anymore. She's no longer wanting to be a part of that. So let me just repeat this. I have deep regrets for the way we parted. This is from the collective masculine for every divine feminine out there. I have deep regrets for the way we parted. I didn't want to go our separate ways, but it seemed best at the time. I thought you would chase me. I'm sad. Okay. What are you going to do about it, masculine? Let's get some messages here from the Divine Masculine. So this is another deck. These decks are both by Diane Garris. Her Etsy link is below in the description box, along with links to my website, links to my offerings, and Patreon. Those will always be included in the description box. All right, we'll give it one more. Okay. What does this masculine have to say, you know? All right, we got 4 messages. Let's take them. I do want you, don't doubt it. Okay, so he's like, don't doubt it. Don't go seeking, you know, don't go seeking somebody else. I do want you. I will return to claim you. Wow. I will return to claim you. I do want you. Don't doubt it. I can't get you off my mind. And I'm being brought as a channeled song to that George Harrison song. I got my mind set on you. I got my mind set on you. You know, it's gonna take time. You know, so he knows that. He's like, it's gonna take time. I know, but I've got my mind set on you. You're the one that I want. And then there's another song coming through. You're the one that I want. You're the one that I want. Who sings that song? I feel like it's a solo artist. You're the one that I want. Anyway, so a lot of songs are coming through right now from the masculine collective to the feminine. I'm getting a lot of channeled songs. I put them in the community tab on the channel, by the way. Share them with you guys sometimes. But the other thing he wants to communicate is he's saying, I do want to see you again, but now is just not the right time. And this is another message that's coming through when I pull messages for my close divine feminine friends is I do want to see you and I am going to return to claim you and I do want you. I can't get you off of my mind either, but it's just not the right time. So the timing, divine timing is at play here. This is why oftentimes the masculine, you know, things you'll so many times in this connection, you'll make plans and then the universe will break the plans. And it's very hard not to get upset at your counterpart. Work happens, something changes, the flight gets canceled, they miss a flight, et cetera, et cetera. Something happens and things go haywire. And so the feminine gets all excited. Masculine's like, I want to make it up to you. I'm coming to see you. And then, you know, they have to leave early or the flight gets canceled or they miss the flight or something just doesn't go right. Or you end up in an argument, you end up back in separation. And so this is that push-pull. And a lot of you are very, very exhausted from the push-pull dynamics of the connection. So I want to get, before I move on to the tarot, excuse me. Excuse me, guys. Okay, so I would like to get, what about this masculine who's canceled plans on the feminine? I feel trapped and stuck in my situation. Okay, so he says, I feel trapped and stuck in my situation, which we know is an illusion. I was in denial. Yeah, I was in denial. I was in denial of the connection. I lied to myself. I lied to others. You know, they got into other relationships. They tried to make it work with other people. They immersed themselves in their work and their jobs. Excuse me. And then that's why they feel trapped and stuck in their situation, is because they threw themselves into work. They got a promotion, right? They feel like they can't get out of it, that they have to be devoted, or they have kids with, you know, exes, or they got into a new relationship and all of a sudden they feel obligated to this person in this situation. These are a lot of karmic contracts that are being burned right now, but they're also playing out. This is one of the hardest things in this connection, is karmic contracts with other people, because oftentimes when the feminine has met the masculine, she's already worked through her karmic contracts. She's already burned through them. She's met the karmic partners. She's had soulmates and she's just ready for the real thing. And the masculine, typically, but not always, the masculine will be the one who is in a karmic connection when they meet. And the feminine will be the one who's single and has been single for a while, has been healing and working on herself. So then it's like time has to catch up with the masculine. He has to get divorced. He has to work out the child custody. He has to leave the karmic partner and then heal from that situation. But then other karmic partners tend to come in to teach him and to assist him, and also to show him the difference between the divine feminine and other people. It's almost like he has to go out there and see, wow, this really is a gift. This really is special. And this person really does love me in the most unconditional way. Look at everything I've put her through, and she's still standing. She's still there. She's the true love. But he has to be able to sort of compare, much like the feminine had to go through her lessons and journeys before meeting the masculine. It doesn't seem fair that the masculine gets to do this while the feminine oftentimes kind of sits and doesn't even have the desire to date at this point, you know, after meeting the masculine. So she focuses on herself. She focuses on her work. She focuses on friendships. She focuses on mission and on building herself up while the masculine is doing whatever he's doing. It's very imperative not to focus on the karmic partners, but that's also very challenging from a 3D perspective. It's like, well, it's being, you know, flaunted in your face, and it feels like the masculine twin is choosing the karmic partner. But this karmic partner is there to teach your masculine lessons that you aren't able to teach them because you've already moved past those karmic lessons. So it's very important that we understand that. If you can see the karmic partner as a teacher for your masculine, you can have a little bit more compassion and maybe a little empathy, and be able to, you know, not focus on them as much as the bad guy, even though it's very challenging, again, from the 3D perspective. So that's why we have to go into the higher perspective and try to take the focus off of what they're doing over there and focus on what we're doing over here. Okay, so from the tarot deck here, let's see, where's, you know, the masculine who has gone back to these karmic situations or contracts, where is he? Wow. Judgment, awakening. Okay, so yes. He is having an awakening, okay? Now this comes right before, guys, the World card. The World card is the last, so this is the second to last card in the major arcana. So this is awakening to your true divine nature. And this is about finding clarity. This is amazing. This is an amazing card. So for those of you who have your divine masculine has gone back to a karmic partner, this is what they want to say. They want to say, I am awakening. I know it looks like I reverted, or I went backwards, or that I didn't choose you, or I walked away from the connection. I denied the connection. What's really happening here, guys, is this masculine had to go back in order to have his proper awakening, in order to really and truly see the feminine for who she is and what she is, you know, to him. And so, like I said, oftentimes it takes some sort of contrast for the masculine, right? It's the contrast of the masculine and the feminine, the contrast of the karmic to the true twin soul. And this is about acceptance and forgiving oneself. This is about like the purification of his soul. This is so, so big. So, you know, in this sense, can you find compassion for the masculine who went back to a karmic job or a karmic family or a karmic partner or an addiction even? They're in this process of awakening. And I've been saying this for weeks now, that the masculine is awakening and will be awakening through the beginning of 2022. Will continue to awaken and blossom. And it's like a flower blossoming. And that's where the masculines are at this time. They've definitely gone inward. They're shining their light from inside out instead of looking for it on the outside to try to fill themselves up. They have the light within them and they know this. And they are, again, awakening to their true divine nature, their true divine self, authenticity, taking off the mask. There is no mask in this card. There's only light. But there's also the contrast here that you can see of the shadow and the light. So they're integrating. We're in the process of integration right now, integrating the dark and the light. All right, so I would like to find out And I don't normally focus on the karmic partners, but because there's been such a rise and the masculines going back to these karmic situations, what is the purpose of this karmic situation right now for the masculine? If you guys want more information on this, I wrote an in-depth Patreon post. I'm not sure which level it's at. I think it's at the VIP level, but it might be at the all access level. So if you want more information on the true purpose of the karmic partners, go ahead and you can check that out over on Patreon. And it's a written post, which is my favorite. Right, so look at this. So the true nature of the karmic, look at this, guys. These are such positive cards. I know it looks negative on the outside and I know it's painful, but you have to trust. It's the Three of Cups energy. It's happiness, it's joy, it's celebration, it's friendship, it's oh, sorry, my TV just went back on by itself and it freaked me out. It was on, I had it on pause. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to turn that off, guys. Give me a second. That freaked me out. That was so weird. I thought I had a ghost in the house, which of course, yeah. Anyway, so TV turned itself back on. Stranger things have happened. Okay, so Three of Cups and the High Priestess. There she is. I was just talking about her at the beginning of the reading. You know, this is the woman that it's the intuition. It's trusting your intuition. The karmic situation is bringing out the High Priestess within the Divine Masculine. Again, check out yesterday's reading because the masculine got the High Priestess card from the Goddess deck. Not the feminine, but the masculine. So the masculine is, this feminine energy is rising up within him. This is why he had to go back. It's like he has to go back and finish out those contracts with integrity, but also look at everything that this is teaching him. He needed to, the feminine couldn't teach him this. As much as you want to share with the masculine, as much as you want to share articles and videos and insight and inspiration and downloads, the masculine doesn't learn that way. The masculine has to learn on their own. They have to learn by the choices they make, the quote unquote mistakes they make, you know, in the eyes of the 3D world. They have to learn in their own time, in their own way. It's just the masculine's way. It's kind of always been that way, probably always will be that way. The masculine doesn't want the feminine telling him what to do. It kind of pisses him off, right? He's like, why does she know more than I do? Like, I'm the man in this connection, right? Whether it's a woman or a man, who you're masculine, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm the one who wears the pants. I'm the masculine energy. So this karmic situation is bringing your masculine to a much higher spiritual place. And again, it had to happen this way. The Three of Cups, what does that represent? It represents the feminine energy. It represents the energy of your emotional world, the emotional realm, delving deeper, bringing more joy into the situation, bringing more love into the situation, opening the masculine up to his emotions again. Now, can the karmic break the masculine's heart? Absolutely. It can break their expectations, their hope, and their heart. It's hard sometimes for the feminine in the 3D world I'm talking about, not your highest self, but the 3D you. It's hard to have compassion when your masculine comes to you and is brokenhearted by the karmic. You're like, well, you know, I told you so. And again, this is just, I'm speaking from the 3D terms, or like the ego. The ego wants to say, I told you so, or, well, duh, you know, that person wasn't good for you. But the masculine had to learn for themselves. And it's not that he does it to hurt the feminine. That is not a true twin soul. That is a karmic partner. If your masculine is purposefully hurting you, that's not your twin soul. Your twin soul wants the best for you. Your twin soul wants to unite with you. Your twin soul does not wish to hurt you or harm you in any way. They do wish to teach you, however. So it can be, you have to be discerning in this journey. So the Three of Cups to me represents friendship. It represents celebration, joy, and just a coming together. It's an energy of finding your soul family. So through this connection, the masculine has perhaps met other people and made friends. And these friends, I do believe, are other divine feminines and divine masculines. And he's able to share his story. And he's like, oh my God, this is real. Because it's one thing, again, for the feminine to say, to him, we're twin flames, look at this, look at that, here's the proof. The masculine has to learn it on his own. And when he does, he's blown away because other people are telling the same story and sharing the same exact situation that he has been experiencing. Okay? So he is definitely connecting deeper to his heart, connecting deeper to his soul tribe, his soul family. And he's finding that he's not alone on this journey. He's finding that he finally is starting to really and truly get it. But he may not come forward with all this information. He may not just come, running into the feminine's arms. Oh my gosh, I understand, I believe. He's going to take time to let it integrate. He has to take time to end this karmic situation, whatever that might be. And he has to do it with integrity. He has to do it with truth and with honesty and with as minimal hurt as possible, because he's hurt a lot of people in his past in the way that he's chosen to do things, including the feminine. Oftentimes the feminine gets stuck in a Three of Swords type situation or a third party situation. And he has to break, then that's why a lot of the feminines have stepped aside. They say, I will not be part of a third party situation. And the masculine now has to break those ties to the third party, whatever that third party is, honestly, with integrity, and without the feminine being there to catch him if he falls. Okay? So let's get some messages for the feminine. Now, while the masculine is dealing with this, while the masculine is dealing with tidying up the karmic situation, learning all these phenomenal lessons, what is the feminine learning? The Chariot. Yeah, things are moving very quickly for you, feminine. The Five of Cups. Okay. Yeah, again, there is some pain and some hurt, feminine, that has kind of risen up again within you. There's definitely some pain that's coming back up, kind of like being regurgitated, if you will. Sorry for that awful visual, but that's what they're showing me, is pain that you thought that maybe you had sorted through is now coming back up, just to be released once and for all. It's a very icy energy, the Five of Cups. It's grief, it's sadness, like feeling like there's no way out. And for a lot of feminines, this is feeling like I missed my chance at love, comparing yourself to others. Why do other people have, the husband or the wife, the kids, the family, the white picket fence, and I sit over here alone waiting for this person who may or may not come back into my life. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I made this all up in my head. And there's a shadow period. There's a shadow integration that's happening now, especially with those feminines who have not yet had children but want children in particular. There is a sadness that's coming with that, and kind of the acceptance of that this is the reality at this present time. Notice how I'm not saying this is your definite reality. A lot of feminines in their 40s, okay, have come to me and have said, I don't know if I'm going to be able to have children. Guys, I'm 42, for instance. And I worry about that, right? And then the feminine says, I worry about that. I worry that I still want children. And when will it be my time? So there is definitely this grief that's being processed. And you guys, you can have grief. I forget the name of it exactly. There's a psychological term. It's true, like discounted grief. It's true grief, but it's not recognized by society necessarily because you haven't, quote unquote, lost anything. But for women who want children and haven't been able to have them yet, or haven't had that opportunity present itself, it's real. So I want to just have compassion for those feminines and let you understand I'm also in that same boat. So I've been working through this myself, and it's been very challenging the past several weeks. And it always comes up, around like my birthday or the holidays. And so it's been very intense. And so, but others have reached out to me as well, and really echoing this thought, back to me and saying, thank you for speaking about that. So this is real, guys, and it deserves to be valued and honored. Now, the Chariot to me speaks about a lot of confidence coming in. So kind of the contrast to the Five of Cups, a lot of confidence for the feminine, a lot of determination to move forward and move out of this energy of grief and sadness. And how can I turn this grief and sadness into productivity? How can I turn this into, how can I turn the shadow into light, the integration of the shadow and the light? And how can I move fearlessly towards that which I desire? Not letting anything stop me. Letting that wild stallion energy that the divine feminine possesses really be unleashed at this time. Knowing that you are a full and complete woman with or without children, with or without, a partner. I mean, these are things that the feminine energy collectively, whether you're a twin flame or not, is dealing with and contending with at this time. It doesn't have to look a certain way, but we're reminded as women, we're reminded every month when we have our periods or cycles that our bodies were made to have children. And so when you don't have them and you want them, or even if you don't want them, you're reminded of that. You're reminded that you are not contributing to society in the way that you're expected to. And it's a very real feeling. And this is something that's coming up. And I'm so glad that I mentioned it in this reading, because I know a lot of you really need to hear this. And some of you in your 30s are even feeling this way. You can feel this way in your 20s. You can feel like I missed the boat. You don't have to be a certain age to feel this way, guys. As a woman, you just feel this desire, this need, this, it's almost like it's a societal expectation. Oh, why aren't you married? Why don't you have kids? I was actually asked that the other day. I was having lunch with someone and he says, oh, you haven't been married? And I said, no. And he just looked at me and I could see the judgment all over his face. And he said, I used to judge that. And I said, oh, really? Because in my mind, I'm thinking you're still doing it. You're doing it right now. He goes, I used to judge that. I said, okay. And I just sat there and I just allowed him to speak. And I didn't say anything. I didn't respond. I didn't react. And in the past, I may have gotten defensive, right? I don't do that anymore. And I did not feel like I had to defend myself. I didn't feel like I had to explain myself. I don't owe you anything. And he says, oh, well, something about having kids. I said nothing about that. I looked at him and I said, oh, I still want kids. I still want kids. I'm still going to have them. And he just kind of looked at me like, oh. He made all these assumptions based on me saying that I wasn't married or hadn't been married ever. And it was just so unbelievable to me that, like, who are you to judge me and my journey? You don't know anything about me. And so it really, really opened my eyes to the need to share this. That what the feminine is going through. This is real. We deal with this, I have friends, she was with her ex-boyfriend. She now has a baby with a much older gentleman, her now boyfriend and partner, but she was with someone for 9 years. And every Christmas, every time they got together during the holidays with family, when are you guys going to get married? They were engaged for 6 years. And she's like, none of your business, none of your business. Why is there this societal expectation that I do what you want me to do? So there's definitely a breakthrough here for the feminine energy in not doing what society expects you to do, but following your heart instead. Wow, I didn't know that was going to come up today. But that feels very, very poignant at this time and very important to be conveyed. And for the masculine energy listening as well, please listen and take this to heart. So let's pull a card I'd like to pull a card for the union energy. And there she is. The Four of Swords, rest and renewal. What a beautiful depiction of the Four of Swords too. We see the rose petals, we see this bath, and something that I've never noticed in this card is there's a woman here. There's a woman watching this woman. It's kind of interesting. This is like, it's almost like there's a woman who wants to jump in and wants to take rest, but is kind of denying herself that. But she's watching this woman be able to do it. So don't be the one that wants to do it but doesn't treat yourself. Be the one that does do it. Whether you're a feminine or a masculine energy watching, or you're not sure, or you're just, but you're a soulmate or a light worker or starseed. the feminine energy is really taking over in all of us and is asking all of us to take rest, with conviction. Take rest and rest your mind. Okay, close your eyes, rest your mind. This is not necessarily the time to do heavy meditation. This is the time for you to just sort of surrender and allow. You can meditate with your eyes open. You can do meditative walking. You can do swimming or walking, in the park or in the forest, grounding with bare feet, grounding your energy. But you don't necessarily need to kind of go all crazy. And you don't need to necessarily meditate at this time. This is more about you truly allowing yourself to just have time to relax and unwind. It's very simple energy. This really is. This is very simple energy. It's not about doing, it's about being right now for the feminine energy. And so for the union energy, again, this is for both masculine and feminine. Just allow yourself to rest at this time. Allow the integrations to happen. Great work, masculines, great work. And feminines, great work as well. Be kind to yourself. Have empathy for yourself and what you're moving through. And I send you guys so much love. Thank you for liking the video, subscribing to the channel, supporting me over on Patreon. Thank you guys so much. Have a great, wonderful day and take care.